Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the 911Strong podcast. Today we're going to talk about whether or not police departments should institute an annual physical fitness requirement. We'll talk about this and a lot more on the 911Strong podcast.
Station to all units.
Prepare to copy.
You're listening to the 911Strong podcast.
Don't act like I never told you.
With Aram and Kristen, bringing you stimulating discussion.
No, I like the sound of that.
An entertaining conversation.
And now, here's Kristen and Aram.
And we're back, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us on the 911Strong podcast. As always, I'm joined by the lovely Kristen.
Hi.
And so today we're going to talk about an interesting topic, right?
I think so.
Yeah, this one kind of gets dogged on a lot, the physical fitness of cops.
Yeah.
And I think
it does.
we're kind of our own worst enemies when it comes to this stuff because, you know, we're always at the donut shops having coffee and donuts. But
Yeah.
that's not unique to cops. Everybody likes donuts.
Yeah, kind of.
Don't you? I mean, you guys...
I do like donuts.
You guys get mad at us, actually, when we bring you the box of donuts back in dispatch.
We do. All the leftovers come to
Well,
us.
it's not just leftovers. I mean, we're thinking...
They're
of,
leftovers.
We're thinking
Let's
of
be
you
real.
guys. But it's something that is expected of us in the academy, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how physical the dispatch academy is, or if it's physical at all. But
No.
Okay, I don't know. Jeez,
We have to sit in a seat.
But I mean, you'd think that there should be an education component when it comes to physical fitness and emotional fitness, because you guys go through a tremendous amount of stress.
We do.
I would even say it's more than us, because by the time it gets to us, because they're calling you all frantic and hyper, and by the time it actually gets to us, they kind of calm down a little bit.
For the most part, yeah, it's de-escalated a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, so at the police academy level, I would say at least half the academy, it's physical training.
Yeah.
We do PT in the morning. Sometimes we do PT after the academy. We do long runs, but they drill it just like they drill other components. But the one thing that's always there is physical training.
Right. It's ingrained in you guys at that point, right?
But if it's so important in the academy, why isn't it important now?
I don't know. That's what gets me.
Yeah, because...
It should be.
Right. I don't know if people out there know. I mean, we know because you're married to a cop, and I am a cop. But the physical training after the academy stops. Hardly any physical training requirement is present.
Yeah.
We have to do annual testing, when it comes to perishable skills like defensive tactics, tactical communication. And defensive tactics in of itself is difficult. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos when we go train, but some guys can't hang.
I've seen some pretty interesting videos.
But, so, I mean, that even proves my point further, is there needs to be some sort of emphasis on physical training.
Yeah.
Because it's healthy. For those of you that don't know, Kristen was what do they call him? Personal trainer?
For a short-lived time, yeah.
Okay,
I dabbled.
Well, okay, she's being humble. There was a little crystal plaque back there.
Oh,
I don't know
my
if you can see it on camera.
paperweight? Hold on, I'll show you guys.
That's fancy. Ooh. It says California
Diva bikini model.
Okay,
35 plus, first place.
I wasn't going to put the 35 plus, but
that's all right. I own my age. I'm not going to say what age, but I'm.
But it shows plus. First place, and that's a tough competition. And kudos to you. You went through a lot. I mean, I remember your dieting and training.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But yeah, I mean that's totally. We should have brought that up at the Girl Power episode we did a couple episodes ago. Yeah. But why do we always do this, Kristen? We're always...
Get off topic?
Yeah.
Squirrel? I don't know. Jeez. It just happens. Sorry, guys.
Luckily, no one's dogged us out on that. We've gotten some really good reviews from you guys, but nobody said that we're sporadic. Yeah, we're amateurs here.
This is raw and real.
It's about as raw and real as it gets. There's not a whole... I mean, it'd be nice if we had a room full of producers that had like, hey, stay on topic and stuff, but we don't.
Oh,
it's just
we'd
us.
be in trouble.
Occasionally we have Danny in here laughing at us, but...
He's no help with that.
Well, he decided he's going to go a few bedrooms down and play video games with my boys.
Yeah. My fourth child.
Yeah, but hey, that brings us back to the way people de-stress. Video games for some people.
Yeah. And working out was for me.
Okay. What is some of the fitness pitfalls that dispatchers run into?
Well, we're pretty stagnant. We don't really move around that much. I mean, even though at my agency we're able to raise our desks up and down, we rarely do. And then we really just don't walk around, or there's some days that we just cannot walk around or take breaks from our desk. So we're really just sitting there the whole time. And we work 12 and a half hour shifts. So that's 12 and a half hours of not moving.
Right.
So
You actually, I think by your desk, you actually have the stair steppers.
we
right?
have like this little makeshift stair stepper thing that, sometimes I'll bring it in and I'll do steps on there when I can't. But usually I try, and a lot of our girls actually have been really good at it by taking their breaks and they go to the gym and they go work out for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the cool thing at our agency is that they allow our personnel to use the gym. We have a gym at our station to work out on duty during your break. But that isn't always the case because sometimes you just can't take an extended break, especially if it's hitting the fan, you can't do it. So when those times happen, when it's hitting the fan and you need to work out even more, how do you cope with that? What are your de-stressing techniques?
I'll do some stretching sometimes at the desk, or I do a lot more of breath work now. And that helps out a lot. So I just realized that at least being in dispatch, a lot of my tension is up on my shoulders and in my neck area. So then I'll just remind myself to relax and take a few deep breaths in and slow breaths out. And that really does help. So, and then I have an Apple Watch. You have one too, I think. But it does remind you to like take breaths, like that breath app. And I know some people probably think it's annoying and like erase it.
Yeah.
But really, if you just take the time, like it's only 30 seconds or a minute, and just really breathe with it, it really does help bring down the stress.
I deleted mine because it was always telling me every 5 minutes, stop, take a deep breath.
Don't be like
I'm like,
Aram.
stop talking to me. My watch already tells me I need to stand
Aram
up and
needs
move.
to breathe.
I know. I do. You see, there's a lot of reasons, right? There's a lot of external factors. We found this article here from police1.com, another police1.com article. You'd think they'd sponsor us one day or something.
Hint, hint.
Yes, if you're listening. But I found a lot of these factors I didn't even think about that contribute to stress. Some of the work-related factors are poor management. And I was like, how does that induce stress? But I guess if you've got a poor supervisor or supervisor that lacks vision or isn't looking out for you, that can be taxing because they're going to be demanding, and not even be considering what's going on in your personal life or what's going on at that minute.
Or even what's going on at work at the time.
Right.
They're just not paying attention.
Exactly. Inadequate or broken equipment, that can be totally frustrating.
Yeah, that's really frustrating.
For a while, your HVAC, your heating and air conditioning in dispatch was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was bad. That went out. Let's see. Our maps are really old.
Okay.
So that's or we have pages missing.
Right.
And the maps I'm talking about have all of the addresses listed throughout the city. So we're able to build containments when somebody runs or give back in addresses. So when the pages are missing, it's kind of frustrating because Google doesn't always have the updated addresses either. So. And
it sounds like, to people that aren't in our world, why was that so hard for me to say? Our world. Damn it. Our world, they think, man, first world problems. You guys are complaining because of the maps. I'm back in mine. But if that's something you're used to and it's not working and you expect it to work, that's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
And that little bit of frustration compounds on top of other frustrations, and it just builds. And the next thing you know, you're just this powder keg ready to blow, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. This list goes on to say excessive overtime. We're experiencing that right now.
We don't have any overtime in dispatch.
You don't?
We're like dry right now.
Boy, but you guys have to fill in shifts.
We fill in our shifts with paybacks.
Oh,
so right now that's what's going on. We are short staffed, but we make do with it.
So what a lot of agencies are experiencing, especially in California, there's 500 agencies in California, and everybody was kind of hit and trying to recover from the 2008 recession. And so a lot of agencies curtailed their budgets, they reduced staffing, and now they're expected to do more with less. And we're no different at our agency. So there's a lot of overtime. And unfortunately, sometimes it's imposed on officers.
It's mandatory overtime.
Right, mandatory overtime. And you might have some stuff going on at home that work isn't going to consider. And, you might be lucky enough to work for an agency where they might
work with you,
but you may not. When I was at the Sheriff's Department, we were drafted. That's what it was called. And you were drafted every day. So I would work a double, single, double, single, double. 5 days a week. I would work 16 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours. And for my first few years, I was like, okay, I'm gung-ho. This is what's expected. But after 3-4 years of the same thing, it wears on you because your shifts aren't consistent.
Yeah.
You're sleeping at night. You're sleeping during the day and working at night.
Yeah.
And then you're expected to reset in those 2 days you have off if you're not working overtime.
Yeah, it's mentally and physically taxing. And then, like you said, if you're working graveyards, it's already screwing up your whole system. And then trying to get back to quote unquote normal and then go back to graveyard, it's really going to take a hit to your body.
Yeah. This next shift that your husband's going to go to, the cover shift.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. If you don't know what a
Yeah.
cover shift is, it's literally covering shifts. So you're working day shift one day, the mid shift, which is swing shift, the next day,
Yeah.
and then the graveyard shift the next day.
Yeah.
And then you're expected to reset on your days off.
He's expected to reset as soon as he gets home.
Right. But then you go into your normal sleep pattern, and then you've got to
and do it all over
right,
again.
and you've got to be in optimal physical and condition and be alert while you're at work, and that's extremely hard.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough on anyone.
And then stuff at homes too kind of contribute to that. It's not just work, but family and relationship problems. We've seen that affect stress because it affects work.
Right. They bring the home life to work. Yeah.
And then financial problems is always the big one.
Yeah.
So in the academy, they'll tell you, to live your life unsullied, but finances, relationships, and dependency issues, whether it's, alcohol or any other dependency issue you might have. Those are the three common things that affects law enforcement. So my suggestion is if you have those three things locked down, you're probably going to have a pretty good career and a pretty good personal life. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You saw it with your dad. Your dad was a police chief, and you've seen him go through the ranks. As a matter of fact, it took him a long time to become chief. He was a sergeant for like 12 years.
I think so. Yeah, it was a good extended time.
Yeah. I'm sure back then he had a lot of stresses and things to deal with. Did he ever have any stories that he brought home?
No. See, my dad's completely opposite kind of how we are. He never shared his stories with us.
Okay.
So I really was kept in a bubble. He never brought work home, and I never heard him discuss work with my mom or
Interesting.
with any of us. Yeah. Even now he's barely starting to open up, but
Okay. How do you think he dealt with it? I mean, he's really controlled. I don't think he drank.
no, he doesn't drink.
Yeah, I mean, he's the epitome of someone that's always under control. Even when he's angry, he's kind of real calm about it. No, Kristen.
He gets very stern.
Yeah.
He has can I say RBF? He has a very RBF face.
It's your dad, not mine.
He does. He has a very RBF face. He's very stern, so people don't think he has a funny side because he's always just has a stern look about him.
Yeah.
But
I think when you get to know him, though,
he does have his goofy
You should
side.
get to know
He
your
had
dad,
some.
Kristen.
He has. I know my dad. He only allows me to know parts of him.
Okay.
But no, he has some good friends that he still goes out with that he used to work with and stuff. So I know he has other people to confide in and everything. It wasn't his family. His
Right.
best friend was my uncle, so I'm sure he confided with him too.
Okay. And I
But,
still work with your uncle.
Yes.
Yeah, he finds different ways to
dad.
de-stress.
Yeah. We're all different.
Some people in the moment they'll let it out.
Yeah.
I get that way too.
I do too sometimes.
Oh,
I
know.
do.
We already talked about your flying finger and blonde hair off the 10 freeway.
It's not that bad. They
No,
exaggerate.
It's horrible.
It
Oh
is
my
not.
gosh. I'm so glad.
I would never.
I'm so
Who are you
glad.
going to believe, Aram or me?
Well, I'm the voice of truth and reason.
I'm a dispatcher. We're all about facts.
We'll let you decide. We'll put it on a poll on our social media pages. Okay, so those are some of the concerns that we talked about when it comes to emotional well-being. But that also affects your physical, right? Because you could be sitting at your desk, which you do for 12 and a half hours, and your heart rate can go from extremely rested to hyper, right?
Right.
And that's a physiological reaction that happens that's induced from external factors. Simply just hearing a phone call can get,
We're always in that fight response.
right. And what does that do? That elevates your cortisol levels and your stress.
Your stress and your heart rate and everything else. And then you stay up in that level. And most people have the time, even officers from certain calls, after they're done, you can kind of relax and go into report writing or whatever. It's not always go, go, go. But with us, it can be like we can go from a stabbing to somebody complaining about, I don't know, a helicopter circling their house. And we'll go to a shooting. And then, it's just always go, go, go. We hang up the phone, we answer again, and we don't get those breaks to de-escalate at all. So it just kind of, we're always at that tension all the time.
When you were training personals, you're a personal trainer. When you're training people, it should be called people trainer.
People trainer.
Anyway, dumb name. When you were a personal people trainer, what did you study up on like the body's response to stress and how it manifests itself to fat?
I did a little bit. Yeah. I mean, probably not as much as I should have. I more so trained from experience just because I lived it. I wasn't one of those, I competed once and thought I knew everything and then said I wanted to be a trainer. I wanted to like live it and breathe it and then be able to speak from experience. That's more my route of doing things. So I was able just to tell them like, yeah, if you're stressing, like most dispatchers do, if we stress, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a stress eater. So if I have junk food around me and the leftovers that are brought to me by officers, I just turn around and I'll eat it, especially when I'm ticked off or like, you know, upset or whatever.
Because nothing's more satisfying than a nice, juicy donut.
Yes, or like, you know, some fries or, you know, whatever it is. I'd rather just indulge in it. And for the time, that comfort food is what really helps me de-stress. But then we pack on pounds and, you know, that doesn't help because, like you said, all the food we're eating is turning into fat. We're not burning it because we're sitting there. Yeah.
I mean, we have in-shape cops and dispatchers.
Yes, we do.
Obviously, we're examples of that. But I don't know if it is for you, but for me, it's a constant struggle. I'm always, I'll have a week where I'm like, I need to reset because I just went overboard.
Yeah.
I love my breakfast burritos.
Mm-hmm.
I love my donuts.
And
okay, no lie. Like,
Danny tattles on him quite often.
Yeah, but between Danny and I polished off a dozen donuts once in one shift. But in our defense,
I would have thrown up.
We were so busy, we didn't even have time to go through the drive-through. We just needed to eat, and sometimes in passing, like dropping off bodies or picking up paperwork or dropping off paperwork, that box will be there.
Yes, yeah.
And if you're hungry, you're going to grab it.
And it's easier because it's there. Yeah,
it's
which is why fast food places are so easy because it's there and it's cheaper and it's just easy.
Yeah, why? You know, speaking of cheaper, why is it that if you want good food, it's more expensive? Like if I wanted a side salad at McDonald's, I'm paying more for some lettuce and cucumbers than I am.
Well, because it's perishable and all the other crap that they keep can be stored in their fridge or in their storage lockers forever.
I guess. I mean, that's a good point, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you ever seen a rotten Twinkie?
No. It's full of preservatives.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
it's full of crap.
Like me, I'm full of preservatives. That's why I look so young.
Oh my gosh.
It's but that's why it's important. It took me a long time over the years to figure out how to survive on a 12.5-hour shift because, no kidding, you can be on a shift and right out the gate you're on a containment and a barricaded suspect and it's a SWAT call out and you're there orchestrating the whole thing until the end of shift. And if you're a smart, experienced officer, you're going to have some snacks in your thing. And like, it's obviously I can't keep an apple or a banana in my war bag because if I forget about it, it leaves a really bad mess.
Yeah, yeah.
So some of the cool snacks I put in there, like I know I turned you on to these, but rugged meats.
Yeah, those are one of my favorites.
Yeah, rugged meats. It's a meat stick. It's not like a Slim Jim or anything. I mean, it looks like a Slim Jim, but they're different because it's premium meats.
Yeah, so much better.
Yeah, because Slim Jims have nitrates. They've got high sodium and high fats. And those are all things that can contribute negatively. But if you take a protein snack like a rugged meat stick that's made out of like premium meats like wild boar, grass-fed cows.
Buffalo too, right?
I think so, yeah. And there's no fillers in there. It's all the premium meat. There's no nitrates, no gluten, no excess sodium. And because it's premium meats, it's high amounts of protein, which sustain you.
Right.
So I keep a handful of that in my bag because, I mean, I find myself, if I'm not eating and I'm on a container or something, my partners aren't either.
Yeah.
So it's convenient to have and post to them. So actually, a lot of my friends said they enjoyed them and they were trying to figure out ways to get them cheap because for a premium product, you're going to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, well, jerkies are usually expensive too.
Yeah, and that's another thing that turns me on to meat sticks. For whatever reason, jerky, the flat pieces of jerky that are harder to eat, cost a lot more than these sticks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do.
And the more you buy, the cheaper they are. So I contacted them, and they actually hooked me up with our own code. So it's 911Strong. It's easy.
Nice.
So if you go to their website, which I'll put in the show notes, it's ruggedmeats.com, and you use code 911Strong, you'll save a ton. And it's premium stuff. As a matter of fact, I should have some here on the show.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to have some.
Just because,
my favorite is the jalapeno sticks.
Yes, those are really good.
Those are so
mine's
good.
The pineapple pork. The pineapple pork has been my favorite. And there's like sausages too, like summer sausage, all sorts of different flavors.
Yeah, those ones are good.
It's starting to sound like a commercial. So,
But yeah, sorry. But that's a perfect thing to have in there too.
Yeah.
And it's hearty and it lasts. So that's a good option to have in there.
Yeah.
I always take my stuff in like a 6-pack bag.
Oh, yeah.
And I make Danny take one like that. We have a different brand. I can't think of what it is, but
Yeah.
you can put your ice packs in there and put all your food in there too.
Right.
Just because you're not guaranteed. I'm not guaranteed a pickup.
Yeah.
So I like having all my food with me all the time.
Yeah, it's smart. I mean, why not pack a bag, an insulated bag, and keep stress-reducing foods in there? I heard like fresh green leafy vegetables, anything with chlorophyll, like a cucumber, actually reduces stress. And it makes sense because people put cucumber slices on their eyes. It acts as an anti-inflammatory. So why not take it inside and just, heal
Yeah,
from
that
the
with
inside
some
out?
lemon or some hummus.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. So it's obviously harder to do out there in the
Yeah.
field. But if you pre-package it and have your meals pre-prepped,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. It doesn't take that long to do it. Just do it like how many ever days you work and then just pre-prep it.
I know a lot of cops out there prep because I made a pretty popular meme a couple of years back where it said I'm a fit cop starter pack, and it had a picture of a 6-pack bag seat belted in the passenger seat,
Yep.
and a 1-gallon jug of water,
Yeah.
right? And then the bang, and
Yeah.
it's so universal. But the one thing I got from that is a lot of people can relate to that because people that are trying to watch what they eat on patrol, they'll do the same thing. And the one takeaway from that is you got to get used to eating cold food.
Yes.
You're
yes.
not always going to be next to a
Oh yeah,
microwave.
going back to competition days, which I don't think I will ever do again.
Yeah.
I was eating cold fish.
Yeah, cold fish,
Ugh.
cold
So
chicken,
nasty.
cold
Cold
potatoes.
asparagus. Ew.
Asparagus is the worst.
Oh, I will not touch that anymore. I was on tilapia and asparagus for so long. Nope, not eating it ever again.
And
never.
And you're reminded of asparagus every time you go to the bathroom.
Oh man, oh you went there.
All right, so yeah, how do we de-stress when we're at work? What do you?
Like I said, I go to the gym.
Yeah, I try to go. I hurt my back Friday, because I complained all day. When we all
did.
went out Tuesday, I think.
We had to hear about it constantly.
But in talking to my chiropractor, I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people work out. It's not when you're actually lifting the heavy weight. It's when you're just doing simple things, which is what hurt me, is when you're just putting the weights back. And all I was doing was dropping the weights, and that's when I felt that tinge on my back, twist, pull, whatever you want to call it, on my back, and it actually stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah.
To the point where people were noticing, and I'm a regular at my gym, and all the other regulars were like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "I can't get up."
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing because
you don't think about your form when you're just dropping down the weights.
And all I had was warm up weights, and that's what even was more embarrassing.
It was the 2 pounds, wasn't it?
Yeah. I wanted to say no, it's those hundreds over there. But so my chiropractor, Dr. Leary, was saying it's when your body's not in preparation to support something heavy. That's when it happens. And for me, in my case, he described it as my muscle spasmed. It contracted real fast, and it pinched a nerve on its way down. So that's what you just have to wait for that damage to go away. And that's what I had an hour-long massage and adjustment yesterday. And I was so relaxed after that massage that when Dr. Leary came to adjust me, he says, "Dude, I can't even twist you. I won't even try right now." So he did my neck, and we tried, but he says I was so tight that I might have to go back again.
Oh, man.
He might have just been upselling me now that I think about it.
Maybe.
But I was able to do something because working out is my stress relief as well. And if I'm not able to throw the weights around, what am I going to do? What if you mentioned
They give you
breathing?
stretches to do and breathing. Yeah.
So breathing and
helps.
stretching, that helps. Okay.
Yeah, the mobility. I think you guys should do it a lot too because of all the gear you guys have to wear. Like that's a lot of weight to have around your waist and on your back. So if you don't have a strong core.
So this article by Inc.com actually talks about getting inspired by listening to other people talk.
Oh.
That's a good way. Sometimes taking in other people's problems, I guess, or listening to other people talk
Other
about
perspectives.
Yeah, helps you take your mind off of your own.
Yeah.
So this one actually says get inspired with a TED Talk or just like talking to a friend or a coworker. Sometimes all you need is a healthy dose of motivation.
Well, that's why I think I go to those events too.
Yeah.
Because it really does like make you see things from a different perspective. And,
right.
Yeah.
So
I like them.
So you're talking about the Girl Power event.
My girl power stuff.
I can't imagine a group of women would have any single problems.
We're all a bunch of happy people.
Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing catty going on.
There actually isn't. It's really nice.
Sure. Until they go home to their husbands. Oh my gosh.
No. Nope. Trust me. It's so, it really was awkward because you walk into that room and everybody's just like nice and everybody greets you.
Really?
Which is not what you normally get. Like even like going to the gym, like you hardly have people open the doors for you or like, you know.
Everybody's in competition with you when you go to the gym.
Yeah.
They're sizing you
Yeah.
up. Why is that when you go to the gym? My gym, I'm lucky enough that
I don't know. We can get in pet peeves of gyms really quick.
That's another episode.
That is, yeah.
but you know what's unfortunate about that is it intimidates a lot of people. So
It does, and it's sad.
right. I wish there was more people out there that would be like every January, the first week of January, people saying, "Oh my gosh, here's going to be the holiday rush of people that regretted."
Yeah.
But instead of doing that to people, why not be welcoming
Yeah.
and show them right off the bat how to be a good gym member? Like, hey, you put your weights away here.
Yeah.
When someone's working out here, you don't want
Yeah.
to stand next to them.
Yeah.
And that'll make life better for everybody. And it just motivates.
Well, and they started there at some point too. They didn't know
Yeah.
what the heck they were doing at one point.
But in their
so
minds, they think
get over yourself.
Yeah, they think they're Mr. Olympia or whatever.
Yeah.
What about the guys that just have to let everybody know they're working out?
Oh, the grunters?
Yeah.
Yeah, the grunters and the
screamers,
slammers.
grunters.
They're so annoying.
Jeez.
Nobody cares, bro.
Bro, I like that. Did we? I kind of off topic here. I'm going off my list here.
You
Did we
did.
talk about? Did we finish with what causes stress at work? Yeah, we did. We started that early. I went out of order.
Yeah, you did. We
Okay.
talked about that.
All right. Well, needless to say, having a strong body and strong mind is
Mm-hmm.
going to carry you throughout not just your personal life but in your career. And I think both are symbiotic. If you're happy at work, you'll be happy at home. If you're happy at home, you'll be happy at work. Would you agree with that? Or
I can play devil's advocate and say not all the time
okay.
because I think,
All right,
well,
Kristen's off the show. She disagreed with me.
no, but I mean, I think that there's some people that prefer to be at work rather than be at home.
Yes.
And then there's some people, they live for work and that's what they'd rather do is be a worker than a family person.
Okay. But for the sake of me being right, why would they rather be at work?
Why would they? I don't know.
Because they don't want to be at home.
Well, yeah.
So something's up at home.
Something's wrong there. Well, not necessarily, but yeah.
Oh, I guess you're right. Because if they're not happy at home, they're happy at work, I guess. But are they really?
No, I think it's just a cover up.
Yeah.
There's something deeper rooted going on there.
Right. And we've all been with that employee that's on their phone and battling it out with their wives or
Yeah.
girlfriends or whatever.
We've all been there though at some
Not me.
point.
I have a perfect marriage. I have a perfect marriage.
I have to say, Liz is wonderful.
I didn't say it was because
Aram,
of me.
on the other hand,
I didn't say it was
don't
because of me.
know.
I'm extremely selfish, but I'm an only child, and she knew that going into the relationship. So, all right, I think we've digressed.
Yeah, sorry
All right,
guys.
I think we have some time for some questions.
Okay. Let's see. I'll just start off from the top. So, are we giving names?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think so.
So Taylor Renee 44 said, "What personal tools or coping skills do you use to process really traumatic calls? And what tools for work do you use for the calls that stick with you longer than any expected quote unquote amount of time?"
I think that's you.
So there's been some calls that have stuck with me for quite some time when it's been like officer involved shootings because I feel guilty sending them to that call. But that was a lot. I mean, my last one was a while ago and I finally just came to grip with I did what I was supposed to do and I can't predict the future. And I think the more you talk about it with somebody, then even if they're just a sounding board, then that's what helps. You just unload your emotional backpack and let them, just vent basically. It's not really like you're completely traumatized from something like that. I mean, thankfully mine didn't end badly, but just getting it off of your shoulders and venting about it. I think the more you talk about it, the more you're able to process what happened, and it's not your fault. We can only do what's expected of us and do our end of the job. And as long as you did what you're supposed to do, you can't hold yourself accountable for that.
Yeah. I think you're complete. I think people take for granted how much of a help it is just to talk about it.
Yeah. Like sometimes you just need a 15-minute walk and just go walk and talk and get it off of your
That's
chest.
a good idea too. I mean, I don't think it's asking a lot, even if you're busy, to just step away for a few minutes and breathe and walk and just kind of clear your head.
Yeah.
Because I would rather, if I was a civilian and I needed help from an officer, I would rather that officer come in after he's been level-headed, after he's cleared his thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we've had those situations where I can think of one really crazy day where we had a very graphic child abuse case where I was a detective, and I was doing some follow-up that day with another detective. So we show up to that scene, and we immediately had to go talk to a victim and try to be of another crime and try to be sensitive with that person. But the only thing I can think of is that baby. You know, I won't go too much into it, but is that baby, because I had young children at home at the time, and it's like, man, it's hard not to relate that stuff with
the comparison.
Yeah, stuff going on at home. But I think you're absolutely right. Was there another question there?
This one you can answer. What motivates officers to stay physically fit after the academy? And that is for Justin.4_.
That's a hard one, because I wouldn't say there's any one thing that motivates me other than, I mean, I can point to a lot of things, like my family depends on me to come home safe. My partners do. But there's just some people that don't work out, whether they're cops or not. But I don't know. I think the academy was a good springboard. It set the tone for, you know, I was a high school athlete, so we worked out, and I just kind of never stopped from high school. It just, even after the time between high school and my police career, I still worked out. I think you just have to have a desire, personal desire to stay in shape. Maybe a little bit of a competitive edge, because you don't want to be known as the weak link. And if you are one of those individuals, whether you like it or not, people are talking about you. Yeah,
and I think, too, just keep in mind, like, the criminals are sizing you up.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? And I mean, no offense, but if you look out of shape, and if I'm a criminal, I'm going to run from you.
Yeah.
Why would I? Why wouldn't I? I have a good chance of getting away.
Yeah, and that brings us back to why I think we should have incentives in law enforcement. There's an agency near us that actually pays their officers a little bit more when they meet these quarterly fitness goals.
Or some offer comp time if they decide to go into the gym.
Yeah, so whatever the incentive is, I think it's great. I think agencies should do that.
Yeah.
It gets away from the necessity of having to push an agenda to have a physical fitness test.
Yeah.
I understand the liability behind that.
Right,
The mentality of some of the administrators is if we have a test and they get hurt, then now they're injured on duty. It's a whole workers' comp issue.
Yeah.
But if it's something that they're encouraged to do on their own, and there's an incentive to do that, I can't think of anything.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's more benefit to it than there are negatives.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely more pros than cons.
But, you know, if you're part of an agency and you're trying to consider implementing something like this, I would think an incentive plan is probably the route to go.
Yeah. Not mandatory incentive.
For those that are already working out, great. The ones that are on the fence about it, this might be the one that pushes them over the end. So
yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, do we have any announcements?
We do. We're going to be at Proforce. It's this coming Saturday, right?
It's already this Saturday?
Yeah, the 28th.
Holy cow.
So the 28th, Proforce in Brea at 10 a.m. We will be there. And so that'll be a fun thing. We're going to have some of our gear there to give away. Oh, we have bracelets.
300 of them.
We might have some other stuff as well to give away. So that would be kind of cool just to meet you guys.
Mugs.
Oh, here's my mug.
We'll see what we can bring as far as giveaways.
We'll see. But yeah, so that's that. Did you have anything else?
No. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Here's something you can bring. You were recently involved in some sort of step challenge for dispatchers, right?
Oh, yeah. I had come across a challenge called Step Bet from one of my physical therapists had put it on. So what it is just I don't get anything out of it. You bet against yourself. So it's $40 to enter, and that's your bet saying like, oh, I bet you can't finish this step bet. So it's only 6 weeks. And it's just walking. It's not necessarily working out. So I thought that would be good for dispatchers since we really don't get that much movement in while we're working. And I had 41 people sign up. This is actually our last week. And I think we're finishing with 23. So those 23 split the pot. So you get your $40 back, and then whatever's in the pot, we get to split it. So it's a little incentive just to win some money back. And like I said, it's just walking. So it's nothing crazy strenuous.
So you're counting your steps.
Yeah, it's just counting your steps. Yeah. You can do it on Android. You can do it on Apple. And you have, I think it's 4 regular walk days, and it's preset from your watch from, I guess, preset, whatever. I can't think right now. Sorry. And then you have 2 power days. It's a couple thousand more steps. It sounds like a lot. It's not that crazy. It's maybe like walking 3 to 5 miles, something like that.
Right. And if you get a lucky day where you get to go to Disneyland, you're going to knock
Oh,
out
yeah. I
70.
knocked that one out of the park on Tuesday.
Right.
We went to Disneyland.
So are you going to start a new challenge?
Yeah, I'm going to start it in January since that's when most people want to, start their new goals. So I'm going to do a step bet in January. So once I have more info on it, I'll put it out to you guys. I haven't created it just yet, but
so in the meantime, they should follow you on social media. So
if you want to on Dispatcher Kristen, follow me there, and I'll put it up eventually. I'm sure we'll mention again on the show, or maybe I'll put it on the podcast IG. But yeah, it's just an easy way to get yourself motivated and just slowly start moving into getting your body mobile.
Right. All right, so just to recap, have a dozen donuts a day, and the best way to cut...
With a Diet Coke.
Oh, that's another subject. Diet soda is so bad for you.
I hate diet soda.
You know how many people think it's better because it's diet?
It's horrible. You might as well just drink regular.
Yeah, because your body responds to the same way it would looking for sugar. And what's even worse about it is you don't have the sugar.
Yeah.
So your pancreas kind of goes through this shock. It's like, hey, I need the sugar to...
Yeah.
Different subject, different day.
There
All right,
we
guys.
go again.
We had a lot to talk about today. And as always, we thank you for your support. So
One more thing. We forgot to announce our winner.
blew out my eardrums.
Sorry, guys.
My gosh.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry if I blew your guys' out.
How did we forget to do that?
Holy cow. So, okay, we did the random counter. It's on our Instagram if you guys happen to watch it today. But it was winner number 42, and I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Clara Bopel.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So thank you for your review.
Let's spell the last name just in case.
Clara, Clara, Bopel, Bopple.
Yeah.
So if you can just get back to us at info@911strong.com and give us your information, we'll be sending you all your gear.
Yeah. You'll get a mug. You'll get some books.
A shirt.
A shirt and a wristband.
Wristband.
Or 2 or 3. We'll see.
And maybe something else.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe a surprise. And we're going to have more giveaways. I think the next giveaway we're going to do... So this giveaway, if you're new to our program, if you went back to our first few episodes, we were really pushing people to push reviews on our iTunes account. Mm-hmm. But I think the next one we're going to do is we're going to push people towards our Instagram page.
Our social media, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So...
we'll include everybody this time.
Yeah, anybody that, I'm sure we'll think of something, but when we announce it, look out for that on our Instagram page, which is _911strong_podcast. Mm-hmm. And let's see, that reminds us, social media, people want to know where they can find us on social media. You mentioned it, follow Kristen at Dispatcher Kristen, and you can follow me on at 911strong. But most importantly, our social media, our audio podcasts are crazy, going through the roof. We recently did a category change. We went from society and culture to education, and that boosted us up to 136 in the country.
Yes.
That was our national ranking, and you know that put us right under?
So excited.
Gary V.
I know.
Oh
I love him.
Gary V's podcast was right above ours. So we're surging in the charts, and that's important because we don't get paid for this. We actually put a lot of our own money into this podcast. And if we want, you guys like our content and you want our podcast to survive, we need your support. And that support simply, we're not asking for money. That support simply comes by you guys giving us 5 stars, leaving us a review if you want. Downloading, yeah. They actually count the download. So that happens automatically if you subscribe to us. So subscribe. And then share us with your friends. If you're on a carpool, play it in your car. It's only I think our longest episode's 30 minutes, right?
Maybe this one went a little bit over.
Yeah, this one went over. But we had a lot to talk about.
We got carried away.
Yeah, I had a lot to talk about. The good thing is it's a podcast. It's not live. They can always stop and come back to us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again for joining us on the 911 Strong podcast. We know you guys have your choice to listen to anything on your drive or in your offices or in your home. And we also appreciate the fact that you can trust us around your family. You'll never find us talking about a subject matter that's too racy or too critical or, something that you want to hide your kids' ears from. We pride ourselves on being family friendly. So tell us your friends about us. Don't tell us about your friends. Not that I don't want to hear about them, but we don't have that kind of time. But tell your friends about us and continue with that support. So we appreciate that, and I guess we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much, guys. Truly appreciate it.
I really work on our ending. We need a catchphrase.